Now, Fish and Crazy Water, what a wonderful name. I wish I knew what it's supposed to be. Actually, I've been looking it up because, of course, I have to find out these things for you. And Marcella Hassan, who is the queen of all things Italian, has no idea. She said it is Neapolitan speciality, doesn't know why it's called crazy water. Another writer said it should be called delicious water. So if you do know, I would love you to send me an email. Tell me about it. But as I said, no one seems to know why it's called crazy water. It doesn't look crazy to me. Anyway, Iain, you're here to cook, aren't you? First of all, what I've got is 450 mils of water, 30 mils of good olive oil. It's very important that you're talking about something a bit fancy, you know, the good stuff. A couple of good pinches of sea salt, 2 tablespoons of chopped Italian parsley, 2 chilies and 2 cloves of garlic, all chopped finely, and tomatoes. Now, let's just talk about peeling tomatoes. They do talk about seeding them. I don't bother when they're small tomatoes like this, but you can seed them if you want to. You just cut them in half, crossways, and squeeze out the seeds. But I don't think it matters. But the main thing is you do have to peel them. So what I've done is put them in boiling water, count it to 10, then put them in iced water. And you will see that the skins then came out. Oh, by the way, you do have to cut out the core, but you will see that the skins come out very easily once they've been dunked into that ice water. Now, don't leave them in the boiling water for too long, otherwise they get very mushy. Right, and what we then do is we just chop them up. As I said, if you wanted to, you could take out some of those seeds. I don't think it matters, but I suppose if you're being pedantic and you want it to look absolutely beautiful, you could do that. So chop them up fairly finely. The other thing that is terribly important is this is not a dish you make in the middle of winter, because it is very important that the tomatoes are nice and ripe. Right, in there. Now what we now do is we bring it to the boil, this liquid. We then cover it and simmer it for 45 minutes. Oh, actually, I reckon 45 minutes is too long. I think we're getting a bit excited there. So we'll do it for 30 minutes, then turn it down, take the lid off, and reduce it by half. We got that right? Yes, we have. Oh, well, I get a bit confused. I didn't want to confuse you. It's a bit like, do you remember Jerry Lee Lewis, who was wonderful, Great Balls of Fire and things like that? I can remember him being reviewed once when he was playing at the London Palladium. And they said he not only confused himself, but the band as well. I saw him once in the days when I think he was on the booze. I think it was the booze he was on. And he just kept going. You know, he was doing a run on the piano and he just kept going, fell off the stage. It was very funny. Anyway, what's that got to do with my tomato? I do love telling funny stories. Right, so what we've got is, I said to my great mates at the South Melbourne market, can you fillet me and scale a baby snapper, a lovely local baby snapper, because there's nothing better. Now do remember that snapper doesn't have a huge shelf life, so you do need something real fresh. So don't just go to your fish and chip shop, you need to go to something like, as I said, my mates at the South Melbourne market. Anyway, so I've got that, and we'll do something with it later. But first of all, we need to get our crazy water going. And it's nearly up to the boil. Lid on, put it over the back, and we'll be back. Oh, I'd say in about 40 minutes, because remember, it has to reduce by half. Now, I actually put another half cup of water in. I thought it needed it. All right, let's just have a taste before I add the fish. And check on the seasoning, basically, and see how nice it is. Oh, that's good. Oh, I like that. Why am I so surprised? So, fish, skin side down first, and it certainly won't take long because it is actually, well, because it's a baby one, it's rather thin. Now, I'm just going to serve some asparagus with it, and let me just show you what to do with asparagus. You just grab it like that, and obviously you've got a woody bit, so if you bend it like that, it will break where the woody bit finishes. And you can use that woody bit for stock or to make a soup. The other thing is, if you want to, you can peel the ends, which makes it even more tender. But that's up to you. And keep in mind, like the tomatoes, well actually the tomatoes, you see, you can only make this fish dish when tomatoes are at their best. And when they're at their best, so is asparagus, because the season's about September to, until Christmas. We're talking about local asparagus. Right, and what it does is it goes in to a pot of rapidly boiling, well salted water. After about a minute or so, we're going to turn this fish over very carefully because the snapper is a delicate beast. I don't know whether you call it a beast, but it is a beast. And just baste it with a bit of that liquid crazy water. I hope one of you does actually know what, or the reason for the name, because I'd love to know. But I didn't mind the food writer who said it should be called delicious water. Now that won't take long, the asparagus won't take long, and let's talk about a wine to go with it. Now, something like this, which is really delicate and tomatoey, but not big bold flavours, and remembering that the snapper itself is very delicate. What we've got here is a cool climate Chardonnay, Two-Wrong Estate, which is from Dramana, I think. Yes, it is. Beautiful wine, a beautiful wine, and it'll go beautifully with this because it's cool climate, which is a lot crisper and fresher. So you want something light, delicate, so that'll go beautifully with this. Fish must be very close. Don't overcook it, please. Asparagus won't be far off. I'll just have a look at that. But please don't overcook that asparagus. There's nothing worse. And it will continue to cook because you are actually putting a hot sauce on top of it. I didn't mean to make it all fancy pants like that. It just sort of happened. Now this is for two. As you know, one of these fillets is plenty for one person. Plenty of sauce because the sauce is so delicious. You don't want to waste it. Of course you can put some herb on it if you like. I don't think it needs it, because it's got all that herb in it. There we go, my friends. Fresh local snapper in crazy water with a beautiful cold climate Chardonnay from the Mornington Peninsula. That is, my friends, good tucker.